You already know this feeling. You've been in the room, the smartest person there, maybe the most prepared, definitely the most honest. And you watch someone less qualified, less thoughtful, less everything, walk out with the title, the deal, the trust, not once, over and over again. Here's what nobody tells you about that moment. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't politics getting in the way of merit. It was the system doing exactly what it was built to do. By the end of this video, you'll understand the precise mechanical reasons why the world runs on a logic that punishes the thoughtful and rewards the certain. Not to make you bitter, to make you dangerous, in the best sense of that word. Calm, accurate, impossible to manipulate. But if you leave now, if you go back to calling it unfair and moving on, nothing changes. You stay reactive, they stay winning. Machiavelli figured this out in a Florentine prison cell, bruised from torture, stripped of every title he'd earned. He didn't become a cynic, he became precise. That's what this is. Comment below, what's one moment in your life where you watched a less capable person rise above you? I'll read them. If you want to start seeing power the way it actually works, not the way you wish it did, subscribe. This channel is built for that. The man who saw too clearly. Machiavelli spent 14 years at the center of Florentine politics, not as a spectator, as the man doing the work, writing reports, designing policy, running diplomatic missions across Europe. He was the kind of mind that only comes along rarely. Analytical, historically literate, unsentimental about how people actually behave versus how they claim to behave. And then, in 1512, foreign armies backed by church money swept back into Florence. The intelligent men who had built the Republic, gone. The Medici, a family whose primary competence was spending money elegantly and projecting the feeling of authority, back in charge. Machiavelli was arrested, tortured, exiled to a farm outside the city. Here's the thing most people miss about that story. He wasn't destroyed because he was wrong. He was destroyed because he was right in a world that had no use for it. He spent the rest of his life writing, not to celebrate what he saw, but to map it with surgical precision so that any intelligent person who read it would never be caught off guard again. That map is what we're following today. 7 mechanisms, 7 reasons. The world runs on a logic most people can't bring themselves to accept. Let's start with the one that hits hardest. Principle 1. Power rewards the appearance of certainty, not intelligence. Watch any meeting, any boardroom, any political stage, any social group deciding what to do next. 2 people speak. The first one is careful. They qualify their statements. They acknowledge trade-offs. They explain why the situation is more complex than it looks. They tell you 3 things that might go wrong. The second person stands up and says, "Here's what we do. I know exactly what this needs. Who does the room follow?" Every time. The second person. Even when the first person was right. Stop. Think about why. It's not stupidity on the room's part, it's evolutionary wiring. Schopenhauer identified this with cold precision. The more you understand about any system, the more uncertainty you naturally accumulate. Real knowledge produces real humility. Real humility, in a room scanning for a leader, reads as weakness. The person who doesn't know enough to be uncertain feels certain, completely, genuinely, no performance. And that certainty, unearned, unjustified, factually incorrect, reads as leadership. Socrates proved this 2,000 years before Machiavelli confirmed it. He went through Athens questioning everyone who claimed expertise. What he found was this: not one of them had ever examined whether their confidence was earned. The craftsman who made excellent shoes believed this qualified him to define virtue. The politician who'd won elections believed this gave him insight into justice. Socrates kept saying he knew nothing. Athens executed him for it. They kept the confident fools. You've seen this. In school, at work, online. The person who speaks with zero hesitation gets the credibility. The person who says it's complicated gets ignored. Here's what it means practically. The least capable people in any room consistently overestimate their competence. Not because they're lying, because they literally lack the capability to see what they're missing. Meanwhile, the most capable people in the room see every gap, every risk, every place their knowledge has limits. So the incompetent radiate certainty, the competent radiate doubt, and every institutional selection process rewards the signal, not the substance. Machiavelli saw this and didn't condemn it. He said, "This is reality." Now, what do you do with it? The first move is simply to see it clearly. Stop expecting intelligence to be recognized. Start understanding what the room is actually selecting for. If this is already changing how you read rooms, subscribe. We go deeper every week. Principle 2. Every system runs on obedience. And obedience requires not thinking. Here's something every ruler has understood privately, but almost nobody says out loud. A population that thinks is ungovernable, not dangerous, not violent, just ungovernable. The moment someone begins examining the orders they're given, they will eventually find one that doesn't make logical sense. The moment they start questioning authority, they'll find an authority that isn't legitimate. The moment they think critically about the rules, they'll notice the rules serve certain people and not others. Once they see that, you've lost them. You can only control a thinking person with truth and genuine benefit. And truth and genuine benefit are expensive. Far cheaper to find people who don't ask. Hannah Arendt sat in a courtroom in 1961 watching a man named Adolf Eichmann testify about his role in organizing the Holocaust. She went expecting a monster. She found a bureaucrat, an ordinary, almost boring man who had simply followed instructions, executed procedures, done his job, and never once stopped to ask whether what he was doing was right. Her conclusion shook the 20th century. The greatest atrocities weren't committed by people who chose evil. They were committed by people who stopped thinking. She called it the banality of evil. The mechanism behind it is simple. Obedience is incompatible with thought. If you think about what you're being asked to do, you might refuse. If you question the logic, you might find it hollow. So every institution that depends on compliance applies. Slowly, over time, evolutionary pressure against thinking. It rewards the executor. It filters out the questioner. Most people don't notice this happening. They feel it as social friction, a vague sense that asking why makes them a problem, and they learn to stop asking. Over time, it doesn't produce more stupid people. It produces environments where thoughtlessness is the path of least resistance. And in those environments, the people who are already operating on instinct and comfort rise. Because they fit. Because they don't create drag. This is the architecture beneath every bureaucracy you've ever found frustrating. The system isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Principle 3. Groups punish. Independent thought. Machiavelli wrote something that sounds like a simple observation but contains everything. Men are so simple and so much creatures of circumstance that the deceiver will always find someone willing to be deceived. He wasn't insulting people. He was describing social physics. We evolved in small tribes. Belonging to the group was the difference between survival and death. Every instinct we carry was shaped by that pressure. And the first law that emerged from it is this: conform or be excluded. Independent thought is the enemy of group cohesion. Not because groups are malicious, but because a group is held together by shared beliefs. Introduce one person who questions those beliefs, and the stability fractures. The group doesn't experience that as intellectual honesty. It experiences it as aggression. Nietzsche called this herd morality. In any large group, the highest social virtue becomes being like everyone else, agreeing, not disrupting. He called it the morality of the average. And he saw it operating not through top-down enforcement, but through something more powerful: the natural, self-protective behavior of mediocrity. The average person doesn't decide to suppress intelligence. They feel threatened by it. The presence of someone who thinks differently, who arrives at different conclusions. This doesn't feel like a contribution to the group. It feels like an attack. And the group responds to attacks by closing ranks and ejecting the threat. You felt this. The moment you said something true that the room didn't want to hear. The chill, the silence, the subtle shift in how people treated you after. Le Bon studied this in crowd psychology in the late 19th century. His most disturbing finding: when people form groups, collective intelligence drops below the average intelligence of the individuals. Not slightly, dramatically. Because groups punish individual reasoning and reward emotional conformity. In any crowd, the person who says, "Wait, let me think about this," gets trampled. The person who shouts, "Follow me," gets elevated. Individual intelligence evaporates. Collective certainty emerges. And the people who thrive in that environment are the ones already operating on instinct and conformity, because it's the only language they ever spoke. This is why demagogues so often seem genuinely limited, not cunning masterminds. Genuinely average people who happen to speak the crowd's emotional frequency. The crowd doesn't want someone smarter than them. The crowd wants someone who confirms what they already feel. If this is rewiring how you see power, hit like. It tells the algorithm this conversation matters. Principle 4. Intelligent people are difficult to use. This is the mechanism Machiavelli understood better than anyone. It explains not just who rises, but why they were put there. Intelligent people resist. They see through emotional appeals. They recognize logical fallacies. They notice when the story doesn't add up. They form independent judgments that don't serve whoever is in charge. From the perspective of anyone trying to maintain power, an intelligent subordinate isn't an asset. It's a liability that happens to be productive. Stupid people can be used, not through conspiracy, through simple mechanics. Tell them what to believe, they believe it. Give them an enemy, they attack it. Give them an identity, they defend it. Show them a flag, and they'll protect the flag's owner against their own interests without ever pausing to ask how those two things connect. Le Bon documented the mechanism from the other side. He found that populations in herd mode respond to three things and three things only: assertion, repetition, contagion. Not arguments, not evidence, not logic. Simple claims made with confidence, repeated until they feel familiar, spread through social proximity. Look at how information moves in any attention. Economy right now. A message doesn't need to be true. It needs to be repeated confidently across enough surfaces until it stops feeling like a claim and starts feeling like obvious reality. Arendt extended this into something more disturbing. The most effective authoritarian propaganda wasn't sophisticated lies. It was simple lies, repeated until people stopped having the energy to resist them. Thinking against the current is exhausting. Most people, at some point, stop, not because they were conquered, because they got tired. This exhaustion is the invisible mechanism that every system exploits. Not by making people stupid, by making independent thought too expensive to sustain. By flooding the information environment with noise until processing signals becomes a luxury. By making conformity comfortable and resistance costly. The result looks like stupidity, but it's a rational response to an irrational environment. Machiavelli's advice to the intelligent person trapped in this environment was surgical. Understand what power actually wants from the people around it, not counsel, not the truth. Validation of existing decisions and continuation of existing positions. The intelligent person who brings uncomfortable accuracy is useless to power. The person who brings comfortable confirmation is indispensable. Principle 5. Intelligence gets punished. Mediocrity gets promoted. Machiavelli lost his position, was tortured, and died in poverty. His crime wasn't treason. His crime was being too accurately intelligent in a system that decided accuracy was no longer useful. This isn't an unusual story. It is the standard trajectory of the intelligent person who fails to understand the social calculus operating around them. Nietzsche called it the triumph of mediocrity. The presence of someone genuinely capable makes average people feel inadequate, not through malice, simply through contrast. Since average people vastly outnumber exceptional ones, they have the social mass to enforce the norm they prefer, a norm that redefines excellence as deviance. Watch it in school. The student who questions the curriculum gets labeled a problem. The one who memorizes and repeats gets called gifted. Watch it at work. The employee who identifies systemic failures gets labeled negative. The one who executes without questioning gets promoted. Watch it in social life. The person who challenges shared assumptions gets called pretentious. The person who tells comfortable lies pleasantly gets called wise. Most people accept this slowly, quietly. They learn to sand down their edges to fit. They call it maturity. Machiavelli called it survival strategy. Never argue inside a frame designed to shrink you. Change the court. Schopenhauer saw this and noted, every individual act of social punishment directed at independent thought seems trivial, a dismissive comment, an exclusion, a promotion quietly denied. But the cumulative effect is a cultural gravity that pulls everyone toward the mean. Machiavelli's response wasn't to fight it. He accepted it as the operating system. He wrote that a man who insists on acting with total virtue in every way will come to ruin among so many who don't. His solution, the lion and the fox. The lion fights openly and loses. The fox disguises its intelligence and survives. The intelligent person who needs to be seen as intelligent in environments that punish it doesn't just fail to advance. They get actively removed because they make the system's mediocrity visible. And no system tolerates a mirror that shows it clearly. Subscribe, and every week You'll get one more tool for navigating systems that weren't designed for people like you. Principle 6. Stupid people are loyal. Intelligent people have judgment. Machiavelli returned to the problem of loyalty constantly, not from sentimentality, from cold analysis. The central problem of holding power is this: how do you build a structure that doesn't turn on you the moment you're weak? His answer was counterintuitive. You don't want the most capable people closest to you. You want the most dependent ones. A capable person has options. Options create leverage. Leverage is power. And power inside your structure is power you don't control. By definition, a threat. The rational move for anyone trying to maintain position isn't to surround themselves with excellence. It's to surround themselves with people who have nowhere else to go. And the people with nowhere else to go are almost always people of limited ability. Because capable people generate alternatives. Intelligent people always find another path. Stupid people, stripped of their position, have nothing. Which makes them perfectly loyal, not noble. Trapped. Nietzsche observed a darker version of this pattern. The mediocre person has a survival instinct the exceptional person lacks. The exceptional person trusts their ability to survive on merit. The mediocre person knows they can't survive on merit, so they become ferociously political. They learn the social levers. They build coalitions. They identify threats, meaning competent people, and eliminate them quietly through bureaucracy, exclusion, and positioning. He called it the slave revolt in morality. Not a violent uprising. A patient, grinding process that slowly redefines all values, until excellence becomes arrogance, independence becomes disloyalty, and mediocrity becomes collaborative virtue. The vocabulary changes, the mechanism doesn't. Stupid people get selected for proximity to power because proximity to power requires loyalty. And loyalty, in its purest institutional form, requires not having the judgment to question what you're loyal to. You've been in rooms where someone clearly more capable was quietly edged out, not by any dramatic move, by 100 small social decisions made by people protecting their comfort. People will react when you stop being controllable. Prepare for that. Principle 7. The system doesn't want to be fixed, it wants to be maintained. This is the final mechanism. The one Machiavelli saw most clearly because he spent his whole life trying to fix things and watched every fix get dismantled. Intelligent people are a threat to existing systems, not through malice, through sight. A person who can see that a system isn't working will, if they have any integrity, try to change it. They'll expose inefficiencies. They'll propose reforms. They'll point out what isn't working. The system will reject them. Not because the system is evil, because the system is organized to perpetuate itself. Stupid people are the system's immune cells, not consciously. Mechanically, a person who can't see the system is broken will never advocate for changing it. A person rewarded by the system as is has no incentive to question it. A person who's built their identity around their position inside the system will defend that system against any threat, because a threat to the system is a threat to them. Schopenhauer noted, most people aren't defending ideas. They're defending the comfort their ideas provide. Change the ideas, destroy the comfort. So the people who've risen furthest within a structure become its most ferocious defenders. Not because they understand why it's correct, because they've lost the ability to imagine it being wrong. Machiavelli wrote about this directly. The reformer has enemies in everyone who profits from the old order. and only lukewarm defenders in everyone who would profit from the new one. This is the mathematics of institutional stupidity. The people benefiting from dysfunction are concentrated, motivated, organized. The people who would benefit from change are diffuse, unmotivated, uncoordinated. The stupid win because they're certain. The intelligent lose because they're right. In institutional combat, certainty beats being right almost every time. Machiavelli died in 1527. He never got the republic he worked toward. He never held office again. His name became shorthand for treachery. And yet, the prince has been read continuously for 5 centuries. Not because it celebrates what it describes, because it describes what is with a precision most people can't bear. Here's what he actually learned by the end. Stupid people run the world because stupidity is biologically cheap. Intelligence is energetically expensive. Systems select for efficiency. They run the world because obedience keeps hierarchies stable, and obedience requires not thinking. They run the world because groups reward conformity and punish the exceptional, because the exceptional is a structural threat to the average. They run the world because certainty is more compelling than justified doubt. And certainty is what you feel when you don't know enough to be uncertain. They run the world because power selects for loyalty. And loyalty requires people who cannot imagine questioning what they serve. These aren't temporary distortions. They aren't errors waiting to be corrected. They are features built into the operating system of every human hierarchy. True in Florence in 1513. True right now. True whenever and wherever human beings organize themselves, which is to say, always. So what do? You stop expecting the systems to change. You stop hoping intelligence gets recognized by structures designed to filter it out. You start protecting your own capacity to think in environments that punish it. You build small, selective circles of people capable of independent thought, because those are the only environments where intelligence is actually an asset. You stop being surprised when fools rise, and you start navigating the game as it actually is, not as you wish it were. Remember the pawn at the start of this video. Alone in the center of the board, surrounded. The pawn doesn't rage at the pieces around it. It moves, one square at a time, with precision. Because the player who understands the game doesn't need the board to be different, they just need to see it clearly. Use this to protect your dignity, not to exploit. If this landed, subscribe. Every video on this channel is built to give you one more layer of clarity about how power actually moves. And before you go, drop one sentence in the comments. What's one thing you're going to stop doing now that you understand this mechanism? One sentence. That's it. Make it real.